I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year.
So I want to talk about this from a spiritual point of view. And so for one thing, the words that come out of our mouth is very important. For another thing, we're in the age of exposure. We're in the age of exposure, and part of that is the veil has been lifted. So when you speak things, karma comes quickly.
Nah, don't forget now. Charlie went and told y'all. This is an unfortunate sacrifice. Charlie Kirk went and told you that it was an unfortunate sacrifice that would need to be made to protect the Second Amendment. Things like this would have to happen. A citizen getting popped in broad daylight would have to happen. As unfortunate as it is, it was an unfortunate sacrifice that must be made to uphold the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk fought for that. He worked hard for this. He worked real hard. He advocated for a fascistic regime, preached nonsensical race junk science that has been debunked for over 100 years. He hated the LGBTQIA community, an active TERF who didn't want women to have body autonomy and reproductive rights. He was a known Islamophobe, a white Christian nationalist, a man who he himself went on record on his little TV show and said he hated empathy. He thought it caused a lot of problems. Mr. Kirk worked real hard for this, and he knocked on hate's door all of his professional life. And the funny thing is, if you knock on hate's door long enough, hate will finally answer. And it answered him.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. Charlie Kirk is gone. It's very sad to see such a young and vibrant mind gone. Now, the black community has turned against him at this last hour. Most of them have now recalled all the sentiments he made against them. Now, they are going full blown on him. The white community has also turned their back against him. His family must be very, very traumatized. Let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up. He also said people got to be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast.
Did y'all expect anything different from somebody like an Amanda Seales? Did y'all, like, not popping, got a little bit of visibility as a result of Jubilee, is continuing to espouse hate, trying to act like she's intelligent, but is basically spewing the same talking points as everybody else when it comes to her whole take on Charlie Kirk and empathy, and not even having a full context so that she can have a more informed conversation with the people that she's having a conversation with. Let's hear some more.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate to. So I don't have any empathy because I have no connectivity. I have more connectivity to someone who is a complete stranger that dies of a drug overdose than I do to someone like Charlie Kirk, because life is hard. And I understand that.
A lot of these people, they don't even have, the right frame of reference. They don't even really have a real argument when it comes to their thoughts. And I've seen this happen with multiple people who have passed away over the years since I've been a content creator. And I don't want to name any names because it's not necessary. It's the same playbook every single time. When people on the left that have liberal views, talking points, modern mentality against traditional ways, angry at the world, believes that the world owed them something, fumbled their own opportunities, but continue to blame the system for whatever it is that they're standing on, doesn't really have a leg to stand on, but continue to stand on that same leg. you're going to get the same rhetoric. It's going to be hate. It's going to be evil. And I've always took the stance of, if somebody passed away, I don't really have anything to say about them, especially if I didn't really care for them. But we in a new age, and I don't think that it's left versus right. I think it's good versus evil, and I believe that they think that they are right, even though it comes from a place of hate. I truly believe that people like her, believe that they are right, even if it comes from a place of hate. They could say some of the most disparaging, hateful, evil, ugly things and don't benefit from it, have not even an ounce of.
Okay? So we all have to be careful about what we say. You know, even in times when we're heated, when we're having arguments with our loved ones, watch what you say. Because these things come so quickly and you can't even take it back. That's how fast it's happening. Now, he was talking to a whole group of people. What we say, and this, I just want to use this as a lesson. What we say, what we broadcast is very important. He said that he really called death onto himself. Now, he thought, I'm pretty sure he thought when he was saying those words that it was going to be somebody else's child. It was going to be somebody else's husband. It wasn't going to be him. It was going to be a different 31-year-old. But guess who it was? It was the one who spoke the words out of their mouth. The second thing about this is part of exposure. These people think that they're just saying what they want to say, but spirit is in them. Spirit is working against them. This is how he's working against them, without a bomb, without blowing up anybody. They're blowing up themselves. That's all I really want us to see, is that Spirit said it doesn't take any bombs to blow up this shit show, and he's showing us every day. I don't want us to miss how we're winning. We are winning. This is a win. A win is a win.
Charlie Kirk is dead, and while I do think he's caused immense harm with his political involvement, his assassination does genuinely worry me for 3 reasons. Number one, Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump are very close, and to see his 31-year-old sort of sidekick protege assassinated has got to be one of the most insane things to happen. The second reason is that I'm worried this is going to spark a wave of retaliation. As an activist on the left in Chicago, I do worry about myself or some of the people that I've worked with being targeted. And the third thing is that in the midst of all of this political turmoil, many experts have warned about the rising possibility of a conflict. I doubt that they're going to be like, oh shoot, maybe we shouldn't go down the far right pipeline anymore. I think they're going to double down, and this does genuinely scare me. I think that he said a lot of stupid shit, but assassinating him is different from assassinating Brian Thompson, who had a huge role in a lot of people's deaths. And with tensions already so high, this is definitely going to set off a lot of backlash and cause even further division. It concerns me the number of people cheering on this act of political violence, because what if it's somebody on the left next? It very well could be.
Of all the things I predicted this year, which isn't much because I'm not fucking Nostradamus, Charlie Kirk being assassinated definitely wasn't on that list. I'm going to be honest, I was deeply shocked by this information, fundamentally shook to my core, and not in a positive way, because I can be very anti someone or believe they're evil or be fundamentally ethically against everything they stand for, but I cannot support something that comes from something else I'm fundamentally against. Cannot be for gun reform and gun control while simultaneously supporting the consequence of that not happening, even in these circumstances. And I know what he said just before it happened as well. And I also blame the systemic failures that led Charlie Kirk to have the ideology that he had more than Charlie Kirk himself. I can't be troubled about a lack of empathy in this day and age for the very real things I speak about, and then not have any empathy towards this situation. I also know what Charlie Kirk's stance was on empathy and it being woke too. However, of course, there is going to be a lot of social commentary and discourse about this event. I'm finding it interesting. We're already seeing a pattern of people trying to police other people's reactions to it, and I'm not trying to police them policing either. I'm just saying I understand that there will be a lot of people who will also have not just a lack of empathy, but will celebrate his death. Because he wasn't just polarising, he believed that certain people just didn't deserve to exist. He believed 10-year-old rape victims should be forced to birth their rapist baby. He believed immigrants didn't deserve due process before being ripped away from their family members and deported. He believed trans people didn't deserve to exist as their authentic self, and he didn't believe in equal rights for any of the LGBTQI community. We all know what he said about gun violence and casualties of that just being the way it is. And if someone was vocal in advocating for you not to have basic human rights or for you to not even exist, and then they were assassinated, I can understand why it would be hard to develop empathy or sympathy for that person. People are going to have very valid reactions to this, especially if they do come from one of the minorities that were impacted the most out of Charlie Kirk's ideals. And I think we just need to accept that. And maybe we should be more angry at the system that allowed this to happen in the first place. That's all.
Charlie Kirk. Was advocating for the right to bear arms worth the shot? You did all this to keep your weapons. But in the end, I guess you didn't have the neck for it. Listen, I would give you prayers, but there are a few genocides going on, so I'll keep them for that. Just in case you don't make it, though. I'm gonna ask you one thing. Does my butt look big from down there?
I'm seeing that there are people who are upset at Dean and other creators for showing sympathy and empathy for this whole Charlie Kirk situation. Of course, I can't tell anyone what to do. You do whatever the heck you want to do. But I don't think that he should be getting hate for it, because he's not, like, people were upset because, oh, it's a heterosexual white man who is crying over a bigoted, harmful, other conservative white man who had died. And it's not like that. Like, he's crying, he's upset, and other people are upset because this is death. Like, it's not no, it's not like we're upset at that it's Charlie Kirk himself. It's just that death, murder is sad. Murder is sad. Death is sad. Other people who weren't involved having to witness it is sad. Like, the youth witnessing it is sad. Someone's children who are ignorant, who don't know anything like going on in the world or anything that their father is doing, them witnessing it, that is sad. The situation is tragic. I understand people being upset that people don't have this same type of energy towards other situations. I'm also upset that people are just now talking about how horrible this country has been, and this is what's happening in America now all of a sudden, when all this other crap was going on and they were silent. That I do understand. But crying, being mournful and all that, like, that's a natural response to death. And that doesn't mean that you have to feel the same way or that you're a bad person if you don't feel empathy for the situation. But death and murder, that's a sad thing. That scares a lot of people. It's scary for a lot of people, especially for people like Dean and other people who like to come out about their views and go out to speak and do all these different things. Now everyone has to worry about all these about their safety. And so it's just so much happening, and like just death in itself is a heavy thing. Even if you hated and disliked the person, like if you knew, like if you've met them personally, like I believe Dean has met Charlie Kirk before, like when you've seen a person, you've known a person, and now you see this violence done to their body, you can't help but react like that because you knew them, you've seen them. Even if you did not like them, like you've seen that person as a person. And so I don't think that that's just him trying to brush off all the things that he's done and I think that's him reacting like most humans would. His empathy is the reason why he fights so hard and has a voice for other people who need it. Not everyone can help that their empathy doesn't have restrictions. Some people are empathetic for everyone, and that's just how they are. It's not because they agree with what someone did or how they led their lives. They're just an empathetic person. I can understand that maybe y'all are upset that he told y'all how you should be reacting to it, how you shouldn't be doing this, and that. And you know, you don't want to be told what to do, and you have been harmed and affected by the things that Charlie Kirk has done and said. So I understand why people would be upset at that. Like, you know about this dude and what he's done, and you're telling me how I should react to this. You know, I understand that. And again, I'm not gonna hate on anyone for unfollowing or doing whatever, because it's your life. But just in my opinion, I believe it's just him having a normal reaction to something tragic happening.
Okay, so Charlie Kirk got shot and has been pronounced dead, and I'm seeing pretty mixed emotions about it. So I just wanted to mention in Islam it's haram to celebrate someone's death or be joyous about it. Even when Abu Jahl died, the Prophet didn't celebrate, he wasn't joyous, he didn't cheer, and he was like pretty much one of the worst enemies of Islam. There's also a hadith that says, do not express joy at the misfortune of your brother, lest Allah have mercy on him and afflict you. So even though his death was ironic and many of his beliefs could be seen as controversial, that does not give us a reason to make fun of his death.
See that? He's dead. Let's all go celebrate now, right? Because a father and a loving husband just died. Let's celebrate. Let's go out to the streets and parade. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. Celebrating a man's death under any circumstance is extremely messed up. There's comments out there saying, is the bullet fine? Or don't celebrate yet, guys, because it's not confirmed yet. Like, come on. Most ironic part is a lot of people who are celebrating this guy's death claim to be Christian. Like, really? Because Jesus would go around celebrating people's deaths. Yeah, because he would do that. Originally, I was just going to come out here and wish for his speeding recovery. But it turns out, as we already know, he passed away. If you're a true follower of Christ, I ask if you can please pray for this man's family and his kids especially. They're going through an extremely rough time. And to those who made fun of this, I hope you turn your life to Christ and let him reform your heart.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. I know this is a very controversial topic regarding whatever has just happened in the few hours ago. Now, we all know the guy by the name Charlie Kirk, and is one of the most known activists in the US, a very young and vibrant person. Now, his demise has brought about many things about him. We now know so many things about whatever he has been talking of. They might not have been serious by that moment, but things are now coming out and the truth is unfolding about the same guy. For all the respect I have for life, I've never supported violence. I'll never do that. And I do respect life as a right and life as a gift given by the Most High. Now, one thing that remains constant is however much people are mourning right now. I've seen so many black reactions on TikTok, and it seems things are not right because many people are feeling like Charlie Kirk talked very, very big things about the black community. He said a lot of stuff. Now, we are not just here to critique. We are here to say everything as they are. He has been very adamant about some issues, and he has been addressing serious issues in the US. We agree and congratulate that. It's very sad that his untimely passing or has come to this time. Being unalived in such a brutal manner should never take place in a country like the US. However much your policies or your ideologies differ with those who think that you are in the same space and you're competing. That's very sad. Now, I want us to review some things that Charlie Kirk talked about the black community. It must be remembered that one of his famous quotes about the black guys, or one thing that he said and he went viral for, was you remember the qualification, equity and inclusion, the DEI? Now, there is once a time when he said that if he sees a black pilot and he's going to be like, boy, is he qualified? He made this comment in the context of criticizing diversity, equity, and inclusion. That says a lot, that how did he view the black community? That's not the only comment that he made on the black community. There is a time Charlie Kirk talked about the black community in a very different way. I've even seen white guys coming out to criticize him for whatever he has been spreading. Some say that he was spreading hate and so many other things. However much, we've been seeing him being very, very aggressive. There is a time that he said the black community are glued to one party, you know, and that's their biggest problem, because they think being Democrats is going to save them from the problems they have. Okay, sometimes I really think we should be making comments not just because we think we are right, but because we evaluate if they are going to affect those who are receiving the same or those who are listening to you. You know, so many people were hurt by the comments he was making in due time. He used to make very controversial comments about the black community. And the people were like, how does he really view the black community? If at all he was in space of power, political power, how would he have treated his black counterparts? You know? And that is a question to be asked even after his demise. That what position or what did he really talk about some things? Some says that he was not that good, that he really was biased on some things. Yes, I accept. People are very biased. Not only him, he was biased, but also other people are very biased. Now, let's be very, very honest. Most of the times when he was talking about jobs and immigration, and you must remember when he quoted this, mass illegal immigration hurts black jobs. In an article or later on, he said that data shows immigration policies that negatively impact the black community and the black Americans at large. He even said that the black community are very entitled to Democrats and not going to vote for a candidate who is going to support immigration, to reduce immigration, because they thought that these jobs that are being done, he thought the jobs that were being done by immigrants belong to the black community. And this include farm laborers and so many other jobs that have been taken over time by the undocumented immigrants or documented immigrants. And this shows you a lot about how he viewed the black community and what did he really stand for. I know this time I'm very, very hurt by the fact that the children are left. His children are left with a wife who is very young. And this is the worst we can see. When you disagree with a person, you don't go to an extent of unaliving them. You know, there is a point you reach and you don't do things. I don't know whatever happened. We're just waiting to hear from the FBI, and we are here to hear from the Utah government. And the whole country is glued to the news to watch whatever is going to happen next. But the black community is here talking about things that were done, you know. They are very hurt. Even some of the white Americans are very, very hurt by the fact that one of their own used to be very, very biased on some topics, you know, and we really want to see how things are unfolding with time, because there is a lot of criticism, and the context which they're coming in is very worrying, because many are now criticizing him for comments that he made as reinforcing racial stereotypes or bits, you know, which are very biased. Now, the black community has therefore gone ahead to react. And most of them feel like he was biased, because whenever he talked about the black community or whenever he mentioned the black community, it was not about something good. It had always to be something very negative, you know. And the comment he made on the black pilot has raised a lot of criticism. And Many have viewed this as that he was implying black people should be presumed less qualified, which is seen as a racist trope. And to be honest, that was bad. Talking about if you see a black pilot and you'll be asking yourself, has he been favored or did he qualify to be here? And you ask yourself, who have been favored all this time in the US? Who have been favored? Who have been privileged? And who have been having the supremacy mindset over time? You know, sometimes you talk about something and you go dig deep into it and you find that it is not making sense. To me, that statement was very reckless and it wasn't making sense because who have been privileged? In fact, there is a time when you find someone working there and you ask yourself, are they qualified or they're being favored because of their color or something? So it is, skeptics have argued out that Kirk often frames structural issues like inequality, discrimination, systematic racism as due to culture or individual failures, rather than acknowledging the fact that these things have been happening and the system has been watching. And there is need for him to encourage the system or to call out the system to look into the things that have been happening for years without a solution. You know what? He was going ahead to criticize those people who are facing violence, who are facing criticism. And there is a time he even said that gun violence at a time should be allowed, you know, which is very crazy because you see everything that he was talking and how things have turned around. It's very messy. I've said again, I've said, and I'm repeating, that I do not support violence in any way. I should not be misquoted in any way. Violence doesn't care if you're black, brown, blue, red, pink, or olive. It can happen to you. It can happen to everyone and to anyone. We must be very careful on how we utter our words. We must be very careful how we transact with the business of publicity. Most of the time, we do lose it after seeing the microphone and we want to place our audience by saying things that are very controversial. I do not support the fact that disagreeing with a person means unaliving or putting an end to their life. It's very bad. I'm very, very sad. But this should be a lesson to all those activists, all those authors who might want to spread in one way or the other racism or hatred. We've seen so many people coming out to blame him for so many other things, you know. I do say, and in my culture, we do believe that the dead are not to be blamed. But whenever you see a person blaming the dead, there was a very big thing. Consequences of living a life with a lot of controversies, it ends in a bad way. Brothers and sisters, I don't know whatever happened, but this should be a lesson to all the people. That while you live a legacy that is good. You never know when the time or the hour is coming. So there is need for you to live a life that's very straight and with less controversies. Now, let's just be honest. If things are happening at the moment and we see how people are reacting, even the white folks are reacting in a very different manner. I didn't expect that. They're turning against their own. This shows you that the world is evolving. We are living in the 21st century. Let's be keen with our interests. They might affect us or our families later on when we are either there or not. Remember, he has left a family. He has left a wife. If all these interests are to be used against his kids or his wife, it is so much traumatizing. Losing your loved one, than someone bringing their past and trying maybe as much as they can to make you feel bad. It's very sad. Let's be very careful how we transact with publicity. I remember you, and you should remember yourself. You should also train your tongue on how to speak in public and what to say and what not to say. You all have these freedoms. You can say anything you want. But remember, everything you say, they have consequences. The consequences might be very severe. So be very careful. Brothers and sisters, I'm taking this time to actually remind you, everything you do, it has an end. Choices have consequences. Be very careful. Thank you so much.